Imagine a ruler who led the largest empire the world had ever seen, freed oppressed people instead of enslaving them, and respected every religion and culture in his land. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was a visionary leader, a liberator, and a hero to millions. This man was Cyrus the Great. Born over 2,500 years ago, Cyrus founded the mighty Persian Empire, which stretched across 3 continents, from the Indus Valley in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. But what made him great wasn't just his military strength, it was his wisdom, his tolerance, and his sense of justice that left a lasting legacy.
Early life and background. Birth and origins.
Cyrus was born around 600 BCE, exact dates vary, in a place called Anshan, which was part of ancient Persia in modern-day Iran. He belonged to the Achaemenid dynasty, a noble family line in Persia. His father, Cambyses I, was the king of Anshan, and his mother, Mandane, was the daughter of the Median king Astyages. According to Greek historian Herodotus, a dream led King Astyages to fear that his grandson Cyrus would one day overthrow him. He ordered the infant to be killed. However, the soldier in charge spared the baby and raised him in secret. This story, though legendary, adds to the mystery and myth surrounding Cyrus's early life.
Education and upbringing.
Growing up, Cyrus received training in leadership, warfare, and statecraft. He learned Persian traditions, but also became familiar with the customs of other people, especially the Medes. This understanding of multiple cultures helped him later become a unifying leader. His early experiences would shape his inclusive and wise rule.
The rise to power. Rebellion against the Medes.
In 550 BCE, Cyrus began his rebellion against the Median Empire, ruled by his grandfather Astyages. The Medes were powerful, but Cyrus had the support of the Persian tribes who were seeking freedom and unity. Through strategic alliances and smart military tactics, he defeated Astyages and took control of the Median capital, Ecbatana. This victory marked the beginning of the Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian Empire. Instead of destroying the Median administration, Cyrus merged it with his own, creating a more powerful and united empire.
Founding of the Persian Empire.
After defeating the Medes, Cyrus showed his skill as a statesman. He ensured peace and stability in the newly united empire by promoting harmony and cooperation. He treated the Medes with respect and even kept many of their officials in power. This made him popular among his new subjects and established the foundation of a multicultural empire.
Expansion of the empire. Conquest of Lydia, 546 BCE.
Cyrus next turned west and set his sights on Lydia, ruled by the wealthy and powerful King Croesus. Lydia, in modern-day Turkey, was famous for its wealth and gold. The war between Cyrus and Croesus was long and challenging. Croesus had alliances with Egypt and Babylon, making the situation complex. However, Cyrus's army, known for its discipline and clever strategies, eventually defeated the Lydians. After capturing Sardis, the Lydian capital, Cyrus showed remarkable mercy. He spared Croesus and even made him an advisor. Instead of looting, he respected the traditions and wealth of the Lydian people.
Babylon and the liberation of the Jews, 539 BCE.
One of Cyrus's most celebrated accomplishments was the conquest of Babylon. The city was a center of culture, trade, and power. It also held the Jewish people in captivity, who had been exiled by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II. Cyrus entered Babylon without bloodshed, welcomed by its citizens. He immediately issued a decree allowing the Jews and other exiled peoples to return to their homelands and rebuild their temples. This act is recorded in the Bible, where Cyrus is referred to as the Anointed One. This moment is considered a turning point in Jewish history and a shining example of Cyrus's commitment to human rights and religious freedom.
Conquests in the East.
Cyrus also expanded his empire to the east, into parts of Central Asia, including modern-day Afghanistan and Pakistan. He conquered regions like Bactria and Sogdiana, strengthening trade routes and cultural exchange. His eastern campaigns were not just about war, but also about connecting the empire through diplomacy and infrastructure.
Governance and achievements. A model of leadership.
Cyrus believed in ruling with justice, mercy, and wisdom. He respected the customs and religions of all the people in his empire. This approach made him beloved by his subjects and set a new standard for leadership in the ancient world. He did not enforce Persian culture or religion on others. Instead, he encouraged local traditions and allowed people to worship freely. This policy of cultural tolerance made the Persian Empire a peaceful and prosperous place.
The Cyrus Cylinder, world's first declaration of human rights.
One of the most remarkable artifacts from Cyrus's reign is the Cyrus Cylinder. Found in Babylon and written in cuneiform, this clay tablet describes how Cyrus restored temples, freed captives, and respected the rights of all peoples. Today, the Cyrus Cylinder is viewed by many scholars as the first charter of human rights. It reflects Cyrus's vision of leadership based on fairness, respect, and moral responsibility.
Efficient administration.
To manage his vast empire, Cyrus created a strong administrative system. He divided the empire into regions called satrapies, each governed by a satrap, governor. These governors collected taxes, maintained order, and enforced the king's laws, but they also had autonomy to handle local issues. Cyrus also improved infrastructure by building roads, facilitating trade and communication. He established an early version of a postal system, ensuring messages could travel quickly across thousands of miles.
Cyrus's death and legacy. Death in battle.
Cyrus continued to campaign until his death in 530 BCE. He died fighting a nomadic tribe in Central Asia, possibly the Pasargadae, led by Queen Tomyris. Greek historians say he died heroically in battle, although details are uncertain. He was buried in Pasargadae, the capital city he built. His tomb still stands today, a simple yet majestic stone structure. Later rulers, including Alexander the Great, honored him and preserved his tomb out of respect.
Legacy and historical impact. Cyrus's influence can be seen throughout history.
He created the largest empire the world had ever seen. He established a model of governance based on tolerance and justice. He is celebrated in Jewish, Greek, and Persian history. His policies influenced later empires, including those of Rome and Islam. Cyrus set a high standard for what it means to be a benevolent ruler. His legacy lived on through his descendants, like Darius the Great and Xerxes I, who continued to expand and strengthen the Persian Empire.
Cyrus and the modern world. Cyrus in religious texts.
Cyrus is a rare example of a non-Jewish figure praised in the Bible. The book of Isaiah refers to him as God's chosen one for freeing the Jews. Greek writers like Herodotus and Xenophon admired Cyrus, and Xenophon wrote the Cyropaedia, a partly fictional biography of him. In Islamic tradition, some scholars believe that Cyrus might be the figure known as Dhul Qarnayn in the Quran, a righteous and powerful ruler who built a barrier to protect people from evil tribes. Though this view is debated, it shows the wide influence Cyrus had across cultures.
Inspiration for modern thinkers. Cyrus's ideas inspired many leaders and thinkers in modern times.
Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the United States, admired Cyrus and owned a copy of the Cyropaedia. The United Nations has recognized the Cyrus Cylinder as a symbol of human rights. Many leaders see him as an example of how to rule with justice, dignity, and fairness.
Why Cyrus still matters today. A king for all people.
Cyrus showed that a ruler can be strong without being cruel. He proved that fairness and respect could unite people better than force. His policies promoted harmony, economic growth, and peace in one of the most diverse empires in history. He respected all languages, faiths, and customs. This made people feel safe and valued, leading to loyalty and stability. His rule offers lessons in cultural inclusion and ethical leadership that are still relevant today.
Lessons for today's leaders.
In our modern world, where conflicts often arise from cultural differences and power struggles, Cyrus's leadership style teaches us, charm, tolerance brings strength, not weakness. Diversity should be embraced, not feared. Justice is the key to long-lasting power and peace. Cyrus's example reminds us that great leadership comes from serving the people, not dominating them.
Conclusion. Remembering the greatness of Cyrus.
Cyrus the Great wasn't just a king. He was a visionary, a peacemaker, and a builder of civilizations. His legacy goes far beyond his conquests. He laid the foundation for a model of governance that emphasized fairness, tolerance, and wisdom. For students of history, Cyrus represents a turning point in world affairs. He showed that empires could be built not only with swords, but with hearts and minds. He proved that true greatness comes not from taking, but from giving. Let us remember Cyrus the Great not just as a conqueror, but as a beacon of hope and humanity whose values can still guide us today.